One, let's start with Republic of Benin. We've been discussing that all morning. And I said, yes, while I think that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu acted reasonably, and may well say, oh, okay, this is a threat at the border and we don't want collateral damage, but the law is the law. The Constitution of Nigeria does not give him powers to deploy troops, as he has done, to go to another country with Nigerian resources, whatever the justification may be. However, Section 305, so 3, I think, 2-3, offer him, a way out. And that way out is that this morning, as I said earlier, before 12 noon, he should transmit a letter to the National Assembly to seek the ratification of the National Assembly at a joint session. The Constitution says joint session. It may sound legalistic, but that's what our law says. And if the National Assembly joint session says withdraw Nigerian troops, it will have no option but to withdraw them immediately, so as to prevent dictatorship, unilateral use of the powers of the commander-in-chief. That's the legal part. But the Nigerian part is that I like the fact that Nigeria has shown power, even if Talon has not acknowledged what we did. Now, about Atiku visiting President Jonathan, well, I don't see much in that.
This is the finest moment for every Nigerian to be proud of themselves, of their country. What Nigeria did in Benin Republic was very good, absolutely what was required of us as a bigger nation. And of course, the legality of that is, what we'll be debating in the few days. So, well, Benin Republic sent 2 letters, what's called note verbal in diplomatic circles. That's an urgent message that needs to be sent for support, one thing or the other. Myself, I've been a beneficiary of note verbal before when I was stranded somewhere at the Sharjah airport in the United Arab Emirates, and the Nigerian government had to help us out at Arise News here. So what was done was actually a very good thing by President Bola Tinubu. But like you said, the law is the law. And President Tinubu has to actually follow what the law says in terms of what we, Nigeria, as a country have agreed upon in terms of domestication of treaties and the actual power that grants the authority to the head of the executive branch of government in Nigeria to go to war with another country or any other is the National Assembly. And in this instance, you know that this is a coup. There could actually be a counter coup in Benin Republic this morning, and the military that may come on board would declare a war against Nigeria for that act that we took. So it's very, very important for us to know that it's a very serious thing that was done. And as simplistic as it looks like, we have to follow the legality of the law, because if not, it could be an impeachable offense against a sitting president, whether it's President Tinubu or any other one. But what was done is something that actually brings joy to us and shows that Nigeria can still exercise its powers as a big brother within the continent, but within the ambit of the law. And in this instance, we've done very well by following the ECOWAS protocols. You see, other countries were called to deploy troops, but how many were eventually deployed? It was Nigeria that did that. But why don't we deploy that sort of weight into tackling the criminals, the bandits, the terrorists that the country? Because that's what every Nigerian citizen waking up this morning is asking. If we have this power to tackle these coup plotters and restore legitimacy back to the government in Benin Republic, how come we are not using the same strategy that the entire square meters of the Nigerian Federation is within the control of our armed forces, and we don't have anybody, troubling us in ungoverned spaces? Well, I really salute President Bola Tinubu's courage, because it takes courage for you to do that, and then a whole lot of organization. But ECOWAS needs to really, take a critical look at this and see how Nigeria will benefit from what we have done. Because, Dr. Abati, the major challenge I have with these West African countries, especially the Francophone countries, is that they don't give us our dues. Like you have said now, when it comes to voting Nigeria at the UN or other international organizations, you'll be surprised that Benin Republic will vote against us. They refused to acknowledge what we did. I mean, President Patrice Talon did not even acknowledge President Tinubu's action, Nigeria's action. They will go and be supporting the French and other global powers, but they will be kicking against Nigerians or Nigeria's candidacies and all of that. So, well, these are the issues at stake. As to the issue of Atiku visiting former President Goodluck Jonathan, yes, I mean, it's related to what happened to former President Goodluck Jonathan in Guinea-Bissau, which is related to what we are saying. A former president was stranded and eventually he was evacuated. Well, Atiku is going there to go and show solidarity, and it's a very good move. But this is coming too late because Atiku is seeking solidarity everywhere. I mean, Atiku stood as the best person to actually benefit from the PDP-led administration under Jonathan in 2019. If he had supported, President Jonathan very well then, but Atiku was too overambitious that he went and joined forces with the APC, that's Tinubu and Buhari, in 2013, 2014, and eventually they skimmed him out. So Atiku has lost out of that game. Now he's trying to build a new alliance with Jonathan and others, and Jonathan will just be laughing at this moment now what is happening. But it's good that politicians are coming together and trying to build momentum. I will ask former President Goodluck Jonathan to see how he can accommodate him and all of that.